Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to a new video. In this lecture, you're going to learn how to install Hadoop. So there are multiple ways to install it on your own machine. However, the first time that you try to install it, most of the time you will get some problems or errors. So I believe that this is like a first good approach to install Hadoop. At least you will know the steps. So we can replicate it, like in your laptop later. Okay, so let me show you how to install it in Colab. This is not the standard, to be honest. I mean, it's not common to install Hadoop and use it in Colab, but it works. And again, I believe it's a first introduction, so it's a good way to get started. All right, so the first step is to download a Hadoop. So you can check on this link, you can go and check the versions. This is the line that will get you, to download the file. However, please be careful, because if you revisit this code, let's say in 1 year, 2 years, so most likely maybe this version is not available or it has changed. So you just need to modify the number of the version. So let me show you. If we go to this link, let me show you what you get. So there are different versions. I'm using the latest one available in this link is 3.4.1, but there are multiple versions, right? Okay. So once you download the file, it will take a couple of minutes. Because it's almost one gigabyte. All right. So once you install it, then you need to unzip the file, right? So this is how you unzip the file. And make a copy of the Hadoop. All right. So once this is complete, then you gotta be aware that when you're using Hadoop, Java is required. Hadoop requires the Java virtual machine, so you gotta ensure that it's installed in your environment. So in this case, this is how you check and you like ensure that it's working, that Java is available. Now, if you're installing Hadoop on your laptop, you will need to also download Java and install it before you proceed. So that's the third step. The fourth step, you will need to set both Hadoop and Java variables. This is a way to tell to your operation system where is located, both files, where are located both files, the Hadoop one and Java. So you can do it. You have to do this not just in Colab, again on your laptop. It's the same thing. If you're installing Hadoop, this is required. Maybe here is easier, but it's a required step. And it's needed because every time you are using Hadoop, then your environment, your operation system will know where to find the libraries and everything. Okay. So once we complete all this setting, the setup, then we proceed to run Hadoop. This is how we run it. Remember the version that we're using. So now it's available and we can use it. So the first thing that we're gonna do is to create a folder here. And in the folder we're gonna this is the MKDir here. We're creating the folder and we're using HDFS, Hadoop distribution file system, to do that. So in this folder is where we're going to store our data and where we're going to perform our analysis. So let's get the data set. This is just a random data set. It's from a web page where the data set will have 100,000 reviews or just rating from users. And it's about movies. So each observation is just the rating for a specific movie assigned by a customer or by a user. All right, so you download the file, we extract the file, we unzip the files, right? So here we have the list. This one, the data, this is the one that has all the information, all the observations, the 100,000 observations. Okay, so once we have Hadoop ready, we have our data available, then we need to write some coding, you know, especially if you want to perform some mapreduce operation. So here in Python, one option is this library, Mrjob, allows you to write some map and reduce operations. Remember, like, I don't know, like 5 weeks ago, we were discussing about mapreduce. In the mapping stage is where we find some key value pairs, and the reduce is the one that's going to add, count, it's going to perform the operations using the mapping information. So I will show you in this video what we're going to do with in the mapping stage and then in the reduce. Okay. So once we have the Mrjob, which is going to help us to write the code, let's get familiar a little bit with the data. So this is remember the file view data, right? It has only four columns. So in the order, the first column is the user ID, the second column is the movie ID, the third column it's the rating for the movie from 1 to 5, this is 3, and the fourth column is just the timestamp. So for example here the user 336 was rating the movie 746, the evaluation was 3, like average, right? So that's the meaning of this observation. So here there is a lot of information, that's why we're getting this message here. That it was truncated because again we have like 100,000 observations, that's a lot. Alright, so let me continue. Let's see the code. Okay, so this is the process that was created using the package, the library Mrjob, to perform the mapreduce operation. So here, if you notice, there are two steps. We need to define the mapper and we need to define the reducer, right? So there is a function for the mapper to get the rating, so to get the information, and then the reducer is going to count the ratings, right? So now we need to define these two functions, right? Because there are two steps that are required to do the mapreduce. So let's say the mapper, the function of the mapper, it will go line by line. It will split this information. Remember the order: user ID, movie ID, rating, and timestamp. So it's going to split that information, and at the end, what you get from this function is just the rating. So for example, 5 or 1 or 2, and then it's going to count the value one time. It's not going to count; it's going to assign a number 1. So what we're trying to do with this process is just to count like how many movies were evaluated with a rating of 5. How many movies were evaluated in total with a rating of 4. That's the basic procedure that we're trying to create here, just to count the number of 5s, 4, 3s, 2, and 1s in our data set. So that's why we're getting, okay, for each line, what was the rating, that's the key, what was the rating, and then the value of 1. So that means that, okay, it was found in that line one time, right? So what is the purpose of this? Is the mapping stage. So we have like key value pairs here. We will have like 5, 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 5, 1 again. 5, 1 means that movie or that line has a rating of 5, and then the value of 1 because we want to sum those values later. So that's the mapping. It's creating those key value pairs that are required in the reducing stage. Okay, so once we're done with the mapping, with the mapper, now we go to the reducer function. So here the purpose is to count the ratings. So it takes the key will be the rating, and it's going to sum the values. So what the reducer is going to do, okay, it's going to check in the list, okay, it's going to find the key, for example, if ratings of 5, so it's going to, you know, like only filter those observations with the key equal to 5, and it's going to sum the values, which are 1 for each, so it's going to count them, right? That's what's happening. So it's going to repeat the same thing just for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So at the end, what you get is just like how many movies were evaluated with the number 5, how many were evaluated with the rating of 4, 3, 2, and 1. So that's the basic function that we're doing here. So we run it, right? We run the process. and at the end we get the output. This is the output that you get here once you run it. In the output, so we have number 1, of the rating of 1. There are 6,110 observations that were evaluated with a 1. So the users they didn't like the movie at all, right? And the same idea, if you add them up, you will get 100,000, right? Because that's the 100,000 observations. So the mode in this dataset will be the number 4. We have 34,174 evaluations equal to 4. You can create, if you want, that's up to you, maybe a file with the results, right? In case you want to export the file and you get like a cleaner output of it, right? Okay, so this is how you use it. As I mentioned, I believe this is a smooth introduction to how to get started with Hadoop, some common steps. Now in the homework, we will change this. I will ask you to change the code, this one. So instead of just counting how many, number of 5, number of 3s and things like that, I want to see like, okay, what is the average rating per movie, right? Things like that, or how many users rated one specific movie. That's the information that I want to see. So you will need to modify this code right here. You can use generative AI to support your analysis. Okay, I'm going to stop the video for today. I'll see you in the next video.